watch the whole series because when I started watching it and I got through the first interview, I said, yo, this is giving reality TV. As a matter of fact, the girl that stars in the Danish Deception, which is her life, she was the first Black bachelorette, which, Jesus wept. Right? But anyway, she was the first Black bachelorette. Let's say that 3 times fast. And I was like, this is giving reality TV. So we might as well have a watch party. We are going to watch this in real time. I'm going to take your questions from the audience. If you want, you guys can call in, but we're going to be watching this real time because you guys, this is 25 parts and each part is 10 minutes. It's longer than one episode is longer than most Real Housewives episodes. But yeah, let's get into the Danish Deception. Are you guys ready for the Danish Deception watch party so we can laugh, cry, decode, and shake our heads? Now, we know the girl that's in charge of the Danish Deception, her life, I think it's Onika. Hold on, let me actually, hold on. Onika, the Danish Deception, what's her name? Oyita? No. Hold on. Welcome to Danish Deception. And her name is Oyita, right? The Danish Deception. Where is this? Why can't I find her now? She was the one that was doing all the videos. Anyway, we'll call her O for now because I do know that her name definitely starts with a O. And I want to put her on the screen and just show you guys because you have to know what these people look like as you listen to her tell the story. Now, I'll be honest with you guys, I got 5 minutes into the first episode and I was like, oh no, we having a watch party. I'm not watching literally 4 hours of my life while I'm scrubbing dishes and then come back and tell you guys about it. We're going on this journey together. Plus, it's going to be really fun, okay? Episode 1 of the DumDum Diaries. But I think her name is Onea. What's her name? Let me know in the comments, right? Hey, Anthony. And I want to give a shout out to everybody that is in here, right? Onika. Yeah. Okay. Onika. Yes, it's Onika from the Colton season. Thank you so much, Nicole. From the Colton season of The Bachelorette. Now, I don't know why, as a Black woman, it's even more humiliating if a white man plays you, a white foreign European man. Then I don't know why. But when you hear her story, you'll understand why, because I believe the signs were there. But anyway, for those of you guys that don't know who the hell I'm talking about, and I am going to be reading the chat, answering questions. We're going to be talking, right? This is who we are talking about. Onika, she was Bachelorette from the Colton season. Okay, so here is, hold on, there we go. So this is the guy, right? And that's her. So she was all over TikTok. They were trying to do like a couples TikTok. She was so into them. They were so in love. She was posting pictures of like, Mom, Dad, look, I made it. And again, that's what you do when you're in love. So I'm not faulting her. I'm not faulting her for that. But this is who we are actually, this is her. This is when she took him home. She's Nigerian American, okay? So she's not like, she don't got 4 Black grandparents, but she's an immigrant, Nigerian American, okay? He married her and her beautiful, beautiful culture, and then proceeded to act a damn fool. I would say he proceeded to act a Black fool, but, you know, not relevant. And again, I don't want to hear anybody that hates interracial relationships. I don't care who you date, Black, brown, yellow, polka dot, he, she, they, them, her, bodies. I don't care. Just make sure you're being loved and respected. That's all I care about. Again, if you got to go to Mars to find the purple polka dot man, do it. I just want to make sure that you guys are loved and respected, okay? All right. So yes, Evelyn, it has been a while since the last live. I'm going to try to do it. Maybe I'll even have a Thanksgiving live for whatever. But let's get into the Danish Deception. Let's do episode 1. It is going to be a lot of commentary. Make sure that you turn your volume up. And let's get into this. Hold on really quick. Let me just pop the chat out so I can see the chat while. Let me just pop the chat out so I can see the chat while we are getting into this. All right, y'all ready to rock? Dun, 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 dun. Okay, here we go. So let's start off with episode 1, shall we?
Hello, and welcome to a new series that I will be calling The Danish Deception. And throughout this series, I'm going to be going through the details and events that happened throughout my 3-year relationship with a man from Denmark who I truly believed was going to be the love of my life and the father of my children. And I now believe him to be the most despicable, two-faced, narcissistic, evil person I have ever encountered in my entire life.
Now that shit hit hard. Now, here's the thing. Off the bat, since we having a watch party, I'm that annoying person that talks during movies. Already I can tell she's going through it because look at her eyebrows. I have a theory, and this goes for myself too, that the more stressed out a woman is, the more her makeup stops looking complimentary. And she's a beautiful girl. And on first step, you're like, yeah, like beautiful lips, beautiful skin, beautiful. She's beautiful, right? But then you look at the eyebrows and you see that she is a very reddish to, I would say she is warm or neutral to warm leaning. And she got those ashy charcoal, Anastasia Beverly Hills granite colored eyebrows, meaning she has cool colored black eyebrows where she needs an Anastasia Beverly Hills ebony colored eyebrows. For those of you guys that use Anastasia Beverly Hills, y'all know what I'm talking about with the eyebrow stuff, right? And I believe she lives in Texas, but that's close enough to the West Coast. And every West Coast girl knows if your eyebrows is messed up, baby, it's a wrap. Just stop. So already I know you're either a little thrown off or you're going through something because your eyebrows are cool colored black, but you have a warm color. So it's giving you a very Sharpie, a very Mr. Potato Head, a very drawn on eyebrow. I'm telling you, one day they're going to do a link between the way a woman's makeup looks and her mental state. Beautiful, beat to the gods. She got a really nice natural beat, but her eyebrows don't match her complexion. You see what I'm saying? They're cool toned black. She needs a warm toned black. Again, yes, I'm being petty, but let me just keep going, okay? I just needed to stop everything and just say this is the first instance of something's not right. Let's keep going.
And I know a lot of you are probably thinking that's a very heavy statement to make. Believe me, I mean every single word. I know a lot of you are probably wondering, why are you sharing your life's most intimate and traumatic experience with a sea of strangers?
Well, everybody saw what Risa Tisa did, and she's trying to get to a bag. And girl, we do not blame you. Share it. Clearly, the man left you broke. Make this TikTok money. Don't be ashamed. It's your life. If you want to commodify it, thank you. You letting all the kids in the village eat, even me.
There's a multitude of reasons, but there's 3 big ones. And I'm going to share with you the first 2 reasons. And the third one, I'm going to wait and share with you at the end of the series because I don't want to give anything away. But the first reason is that this is my way of telling the world that love is a powerful, powerful drug. And if you're someone that's knowingly or unknowingly in an unhealthy or toxic relationship, I want you to know that love is a powerful drug and it clouds our judgment and it makes us think in ways we wouldn't think otherwise.
That's true.
And if you're someone that's also trusted the wrong person, you're not alone and you need to give yourself grace and compassion because it happens every day. The second reason is that this is my way of protecting others, and whether it be someone that might encounter my ex, or let's be real, there's some horrible people in this world. I want to protect other people from going through what I went through.
Pause, because even though I didn't see the end of her deception, I know a little bit about what happened. This man conned her and her family members out of $300,000. This man told her that he had won the Olympics and got a gold medal. That man didn't even know how to walk fast. This man left her even after, and he maxed her credit. They went to like 7
This next part, I'm actually going to channel my inner Risa Tisa.
Hold on. Did you guys like miss all of that? I'm back. Did you guys miss all of that? Damn it. No. Hold on. Listen. Okay, I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. What's going on? Hold on, you guys. Let's hold on. Are we back? I'm back. All right. Are we good? Are we good? Put a 1 if we're good. Okay. We're back. Where did I leave y'all? I know I was talking trash, but where did I leave y'all? Let's see. Okay, it's frozen. That was God telling me to stop. I was making a joke about how she's taking the high road on this guy, but she's trying to, I believe, poison the well. When I think, wait, it froze after we talked about her eyebrows. Wait, it's been frozen that long? Okay, fine. Let's restart the video. Oh my God, it's been frozen that long. Okay, let's restart this video. Hold on, you guys. Let's restart. YouTube is such haters. Okay, anyway. So anyway, this guy, so let me just start over, okay? I'll cut this out in a thing. So where this went wrong is this guy, let me put him up on the screen. This guy literally lied to her and stole $300,000 from her family. This guy, with her help, this guy told her he won a gold medal and didn't even know how to walk fast. This guy left her. He left her. So when she says, oh no, you don't understand, I wish him well, but I just think, girl, you ain't saying this for a public safety. He left you. He has a new victim. You're mad about that, and you're trying to poison the well. To which I say, good. I do not believe in doing the high road when it comes to, like, if somebody literally robbed me and my family of $300,000, no, girl, you ain't got to lie to kick it. You can just actually say, I know. I hope that when you come into heaven, you are on your knees and I pop up and be like, hey, Peter, hey, Gabriel, what's going on? What? And they're just like, and you're like, please let me in. Please let me in. And I can just sit there because I'm going to be eating ice cream, the best ice cream ever. It's heaven. Right? And I just hope I can just walk up to you and Peter and Gabriel are like, I don't know, Tisa, like, what do you think? What do you think? Should we let her? No. I hope while you are crying, I'm the person to kick you in your head and literally laugh as they drag you from the gates of hell and plummet you. Get from the gates of heaven and plummet you to hell. Again, girl, you ain't got to lie to kick it. And I would literally say to the girl, yes, I'm being petty. Yes, I'm telling all this business, but you know what? You don't even know me, but I'm doing you a favor. You're welcome. Keep in mind also that every picture you see, every video, they traveled the world. They went to Brazil. They went to Greece. They went to they traveled the world, 17 different places. You know, she paid for all of it on her credit card. She is hey, what's up, Trishawn Wilson? We're going to talk about Diddy and another thing. And yes, he is at it again. What's up, Trishawn? What is Diddy up to? He was a straight leech. But the thing is in this video, and this is what I want you guys to get through with me, how did he convince her, even after she saw that the con was coming? And again, love is a hell of a drug. How did he convince her to literally keep funding their lifestyle? How did he convince her? I'm very, very, hold on. I'm very, very curious. Okay, so let's get into this. Hold on. Okay. Let's go, mama. Okay.
The most despicable, two-faced, narcissistic, evil person I have ever.
Hold on.
Through the details and events that happened throughout my
Hold on, what is going on with this? 1 second, guys. 1 second. Let me fix
Hello
the volume.
and welcome to a new series that I will be calling The Danish Deception. And throughout this series, I'm going to be going through the details and events that happened throughout my 3-year relationship with a man from Denmark who I truly believed was going to be the love of my life and the father of my children. And I now believe him to be the most despicable, two-faced, narcissistic.
So there's this girl I watch on Twitter, not Twitter, TikTok, Rach2. She's really, really funny. She married a Swedish guy. They seem very, very happy. But I remember she was saying like ranking if you want a European man. And she said to stay away from men from Denmark because they are scammers. They are cheap and they are whatever. Let's keep going.
The evil person I have ever encountered in my entire life. And I know a lot of you are probably thinking that's a very heavy statement to make. Believe me, I mean every single word. I know a lot of you are probably wondering, why are you sharing your life's most intimate and traumatic experience with a sea of strangers? Well, there's a multitude of reasons, but there's 3 big ones. And I'm going to share with you the first 2 reasons. And the third one, I'm going to wait and share with you at the end of the series because I don't want to give anything away.
Come on, girl.
But the first reason is that this is my way of telling the world that love is a powerful, powerful drug. And if you're someone that's knowingly or unknowingly in an unhealthy or toxic relationship, I want you to know that love is a powerful drug and it clouds our judgment and it makes us think in ways we wouldn't think otherwise. And if you're someone that's also trusted the wrong person, you're not alone and you need to give yourself grace and compassion because it happens every day. The second reason is that this is my way of protecting others, and whether it be someone that might encounter my ex, or let's be real, there's some horrible people in this world. I want to protect other people from going through what I went through. And if there's one person that can watch these videos and see some signs in their relationship that they didn't see before, and they can remove themselves before too much damage is caused, then it's 100% worth it for me to do what I'm doing. What you guys are about to hear is going to be one of the most beautiful love stories you've ever heard.
Now, keep in mind, after she got exposed, I mean, I guess that's Black culture, right? Like, you know, we love you, but then we also tell you you were stupid. And she's been on Twitter, Instagram, everything, cursing out Black women and saying a Black man scam too. And I'm like, what do Black men have to do with this particular situation? There's not a Black man involved. There's not a thing. There's not. So she's literally on Twitter now dragging Black women, even though the whole world is laughing at her. So I don't know, there's weird vibes going on with her.
In your entire life. And for that reason, I need to make sure you guys all prepare yourselves because it's going to take a very drastic turn. And this is going to be one of the most insane roller coaster of emotions that you guys have been on. And if you were a fan of the Who the Fuck Did I Marry series, unfortunately, the story you're about to hear is significantly worse, and it pains me to say that. This next part, I'm actually going to channel my inner Risa Tisa because I loved the way she did her introduction and disclaimer video. Everything you're about to hear is the truth and can be verified by multiple people in my life. And I actually have a folder in my phone that's labeled evidence. And it can support probably 80% of the things I'm going to say throughout this series. So if my ex or anyone else wants to come forward and say I'm fabricating any of this, I will be more than happy to release the receipts to the world. I'm going to tell the truth, even if it makes me look bad. And there's going to be times that you guys are going to be looking at me crazy. And refer to reason number 1, love is a powerful drug. I'm going to be using a mixture of aliases and real names because I don't have everyone's permission to use their names. And my priority is remaining respectful to everyone that was involved, everyone except for my ex. And in case you guys are wondering, I'm going to be referring to him as my ex throughout this series, mainly because I feel like if I say his name every day this frequently, it's going to cause me to become physically ill. And I do not want that. I don't know how many parts this is going to be, but I know it's not going to be 52 because I don't have the patience for that.
Oh my God.
I will try to get these out
Should we
as
fast forward?
quickly as
She's
I
being
can. I'm a
boring.
real estate agent, so my careers can be very demanding unexpectedly at times, but I will try to get these parts out as quickly as I possibly can. I come from a beautiful, strong Nigerian family that was built on deep respect and unbreakable support. And we have never experienced trauma at this magnitude. So this situation completely rocked us to our core. But I truly believe that we will come out of this stronger than ever.
You know, pause. I do have to say one thing. Let me see what y'all actually are thinking, right? Here's the thing, right? He robbed her family, scammed her family out of $300,000, according to her. Actually more, because that $300,000 isn't counting the money she spent. And it's like, I can't imagine the guilt I would feel if I let a man come in and scam my family. And I'm not blaming her. I'm not saying it's her fault. I'm not saying any of that. But it's kind of like this. If my man comes in to the family and says, ada, this, that, and the third, blah, 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 y'all want to get in on this, right? It is my responsibility as the person that bought. It's like if you bring a friend in. I bought them to the family. So the family's already expected that I vetted them, that I checked, that we can trust this person. So it's like if your brother, sister, cousin, mom is like, yo, so-and-so has a good deal for investment, but unless they ask you what you think, that's when you do your own investigation. But they're like, yo, I'm telling you, this is going to be good. We should get on this. You assume that the family member that's telling you about this has vetted everything and that they are good for it. And the fact that she bought this guy in and didn't, the fact that somebody, she bought this guy in, and every single lie he told her, she didn't even bother to double check. She must feel so guilty right now, because it's like, yeah, this is very traumatic for your family, but you're the one that bought the trauma and co-signed and pushed them to do business with the trauma. Anyway, that guy ain't going to heaven.
And I just wanted to take a moment to just thank my friends and family for giving me the courage and the strength to be able to come forward and share my story, because I feel so much love from the people around me, and I wouldn't be able to do this without them. And I really just wanted to end this video with a message directly to my ex. And frankly, I don't think he's going to be watching this because he's a coward. But in the event that he is, this message is for you. You have lived a life where you've hurt so many people and you've created damage in the lives of many, and no one has ever truly held you accountable for your actions. I was silent for a very long time, and that silence only benefited you and it never benefited me. And I'm sharing my story for my healing, for my strength, and for my growth. And you might not believe this, but this is not about...
See, and that's the thing. This girl is still not over this man. This man literally humiliated you. I would literally kill someone just the fact that I helped you unknowingly steal money from the people I love. Like, that's a death sentence right there. But you're now explaining why you have to do this. I have a message for you. Remember, I said this man ghosted her. That's why she got this message. I have a message for you, because this is probably the only way. And I'll tell you one thing. He's probably feeling the same way I am. This shit's boring. I ain't listening to all this. He probably fast forwarded it, like literally probably, because you know what the funny thing is? You ever have someone that, like, you know, they say you're a villain in somebody's story. I feel like when people say that I've been a little demon and they're talking shit about me, and this is something, I'm going to let y'all in a little bit on my psyche, right? When people talk shit about me, even online, right? Sometimes it will annoy me, right? Because the shit they're saying is so dumb, I want to respond. But then I'm like, forget it. You can't respond to every dummy. But there's a lot of times people be talking shit about me and swear they got tea on me. And I be sitting there eating my grapes or eating my grapes, cracking the fuck up. It's funny to me sometimes when somebody hates me so much and they're dragging me. And sometimes I'll be like accurate and I'll just be cracking up. But I am able to disassociate because I'm like, you don't know me. It's just literally listening to somebody's made up version of you. So I say that to say, I think this guy, Martin, is, if he did watch this shit, I feel like he's sitting up there having a beer, eating his, what do Danish people eat? Pickled fish or some shit? Eating his pickled fish and laughing at this. But she's not over him, because when you still have to explain why you're doing something to someone, no, that man can come back when he wants.
Revenge. This is about protecting others and reclaiming my power, because I survived a story that I never asked to be a part of.
You want that man back?
And I'm going to tell it with honesty, intention, and power.
You want that man back?
My voice will no longer be minimized.
You want that man back?
So you guys, welcome to the Danish Deception, and it's time to get this thing started. So let's head on over to part 1.
Okay, so hold on, you guys. Let's get into part 1. Let me put it up on the screen. But how y'all feeling about this so far? I think she wants that man back. I think she wants that man back. I think she wants that man back.
The Danish Deception, part 1. Okay.
I want to get him back. I want to get him. Olivia Rodrigo. I want to get him back. I want to really that. That's the way she's thought. I want to bend. I want sweet. Okay, fine.
So it all started in June of 2022. I was in a place in my life where I was working 2 jobs. I was working like a dog, and I knew I needed a break. So I reached out to my friend, Sarah, who was living in Germany at the time with her husband. And I said, let's take a trip. Let's go somewhere in Europe. And she was so down. And we were trying to decide where we wanted to go. And we decided to go to Hvar, Croatia, because we wanted somewhere that was like a cute local town that was by the water, but it wouldn't be as crazy busy as other places in Europe. And so we decided to go to Hvar. We flew to Split first, met there, took a ferry over. And at first I was just so amazed at how beautiful this place was. And so the first night,
I've been to Hvar plenty of times. There's a lot of, I don't want to insult anyone, but there's a lot of Euro trash there. There's a lot of scammers and con artists, because there's a Hvar Palace, which we stay when we go. It's gorgeous, but it's a mix between old money, new money, and they want some of your money. And don't get me wrong, like in Europe, men are exceptionally generous, but I think it's the same in America, right? It just seems like it's more because, you know, you're on the back of a boat, or like, you know, the club. Like, it seems like they're more generous because it's like new things. But let's be real, no city is more expensive than New York, except for Monaco, right? But my point of the matter is, there's a lot of F-boys there, right? And they'll spend money on you for the night, but you got to know not to take them seriously. And I think she'd take them seriously. And let me say this too. I'm not saying that this man is bad looking, even though he does look double her age. She looks like she's like 25, and I'm sure because she's black, she's probably, you know, when you black, you somewhere between 25 and 55, depending on, like, you know, like, but he looked double her age. And I'm saying that for her age and her beauty, she could have got an F-boy that was spending just as much money as he was without, like, if that's what you're looking for, an F-boy that you was paying for, you could have gotten a genetic anomaly. You get what I'm saying? You could have literally got a genetic anomaly of handsomeness. Like, oh, goddamn, like, I didn't even know you were real. And this is what you were paying for? I would never pay for a man, ever, unless it's, you know, my hubby and, you know, he fell in hard times. I would 100% get to work. But I also, like, but if he ever fell in hard times, yes, he's been so good for me, I would roll up my sleeves and I would be there for him. But some random I just met, you must be out of your damn mind. Money, excuse, what? Oh, ugh, I just got the ick. Anyway, let's keep going.
I was a little bit jet lagged, so we kept it very chill, grabbed dinner, then went back to our Airbnb. And the next morning when we woke up, we had literally 2 things on our agenda, and that was to eat and drink and be by the water. And well, I guess that's 3 things, but yeah, eat, drink, and be by the water. So we went to Hula Hula, which if you've been to Havar, you've been to Hula Hula. It's this beach club that's very well known there, and it's right on the water. And we're laying in day beds, kind of off to the side, minding our own business, sipping mojitos. And I look up and I see this very attractive man. And the first thing that came to my mind was, this man looks like he is.
Second of all, ain't nobody with money at Hula Hula in Hvar in Croatia. That's where like broke college students go because the drinks are like €8 each. Get out of here. But anyway, let's keep going.
Walking straight out of a Calvin Klein ad. And
you know what? Let's do the overlay while she's talking.
I'm telling you guys, 6'3", blonde hair, blue eyes, chiseled skin, so tan, muscles everywhere. I was definitely taken aback. And I feel like it takes a lot for me to really double take a man just based on his looks like that. And 100%, I was a little bit just walking straight out.
Sorry, guys.
Of a Calvin Klein ad. And I'm telling you guys, 6'3", blonde hair, blue eyes, chiseled skin, so tan, muscles everywhere. I was definitely taken aback. And I feel like it takes a lot for me to really double take a man just based on his looks like that. And 100%, I was a little bit just in awe. I didn't even realize that he was like with a friend at first. And so I'm still minding my own business, keeping it chill. And he looks over at me and he says, "How are the drinks?" And I said, "The drinks are wonderful. We're just sipping mojitos." He said, "Should I get us all around?" And I said, "Absolutely. Number 1, he's cute. Number 2, who wouldn't want a free mojito?" So I said yes.
This girl, who wouldn't want a free mojito? They're 2 for €8 at Hula Hula. Are you serious?
We got a round of drinks and we're sipping our drinks and we just start small talking. And I asked them where they're from. And they say that they're both from Denmark. My ex was living in Copenhagen, and then his friend was living in a smaller town called Aalborg, which is north of Copenhagen. And that was actually my ex's hometown, that his friend was still living there. And so we were just small talking the whole time. We didn't really talk about a whole lot of things. It was just like, "Where are you from?" and just basic things. But they were asking us, "What's your plan for the rest of the trip?" And we told them, we're doing a full day boat excursion tomorrow. And then we're going to dinner tonight at this place called Dalmatino. And he said, "Oh, how's the dinner spot?" And I was like, "I don't know, but I got recommended by a friend to go there." And he was like, "Okay, well, maybe we'll meet up with you guys again later." And I said, "Sure." So we're getting a little bit tired. So we decided that it's time for us to leave. And so as we're leaving, I decide to make a bold move and just ask him for his Instagram. And obviously I'm trying to be a little sly. So I asked him and his friend for their Instagrams, and we exchange Instagrams. We get into our taxi to go back to our Airbnb, and we're literally en route to our Airbnb. And I get a DM from him, and he basically said, "It was so nice meeting you. Have fun at Dalmatino. Maybe we'll see you guys later." Didn't read anything into it. I just was like, it was fun to just have a conversation with a cute guy. And so,
okay, so pause, because this actually needs to be said. And women, we need to have a talk about this. First of all, men are users. Not all men, but men are users. And it used to be that men used women for a place to sleep. If they liked your cooking, they would use you for your cooking. If they liked your body, they would use you for your body. If they liked your face, they would use you as like a social token to take this pretty girl around all their friends, because when men are associated with beautiful women, their social standing goes up. As much as men hate to admit it, that's what happens. And that's why a man will use a pretty woman. That's why men typically sometimes can date women they don't even like. But let me tell you, I feel like one thing that's like very, very not spoken and underserved is the fact that in this new media age, there are, and again, I've been in a relationship for the longest, so I didn't really fall prey to this. But a lot of my friends who are influencers have said that men will use them for their social media thing, for the access. Even rappers, when you're like, oh, why are they with this girl? Why are they this girl? They're with these strippers because these strippers have millions of followers and it is free promotion for their albums. This girl messed up. And the thing is, I think where she messed up is she knew what she was doing. She knew why she gave this fool her, her social media, because she wanted him to know that she was famous. She wanted him to know that she had been on TV. She wanted to flex on this fool, but you're not, beloved, you are not a man. You don't need to flex. You are not a man. You don't need to flex on this fool, okay? So what ended up happening? You hunted down Instagram because you want him to know who. First of all, y'all leaving Hula Hula where the mojitos are like 2 for €8 on special for happy hour. Hulu's is not where you finding, or it's not where you're finding a Hulu in Hvar, Croatia, right? It's not where you are finding, and don't get me wrong, there are some places, like if you stay at the Hvar Palace, where you can find old money in Hvar, right? It's Europe, right? But Hulu's ain't one of them, okay? And you're not finding old money. You might find new money. You will find Nepo babies, but Nepo babies that haven't gotten their full trust fund, so they're still on an allowance, right? And they asking to borrow money from you when the month gets short, because they spend it all for like Pharrell's new collab with Louis Vuitton. Trust fund babies are always broke at the end of the month, right? And if the family don't like you, you're out because they're going to cut off their allowance to get them to break up with you, right? But also you're going to find either those Nepo babies that, are at the end of their allowance, or you're going to find people that are like not new money, but they want your money. And that's what she found. And 2 guys are leaving. And you, because he showed zero interest in you, he was like, okay, fine. And I think you can tell from this video. Let me put this video back up. I think you can tell from this video, he's not really into her. I mean, maybe she can't tell, but I can. He's not really into her at all. Like, look at this, like kissing on her, doing like whatever, right? But look at the way he like turns his head to see what is going on. Maybe he's not really into her, but that's not even the point. Beloveds, if a man ever, and I mean ever, if a man ever, you're vibing and you go to leave and he doesn't make an effort to stay in touch with you, he does not like you. It could be because he has someone. It could be because he's at the very least, he doesn't want to take the chance. And let him go. Let him go. Putting your head in the lion's mouth has never gotten anything. And on top of that, she did it because she wanted him to be interested and wanted to be starstruck and let him know. But instead, you showed a con artist that you might have a network that he can exploit. And that's exactly what happened. But you know what? I'm very sorry to hear this. Let's keep going.
So we go back to our Airbnb. We get dressed. We get ready for dinner. And we're like on our way to dinner. And he is like messaging me about the restaurant and asking us details about it. I didn't like think anything of it. But we sit down, we're having dinner, we have a spectacular dinner, and we're finishing off the evening with our desserts, AKA espresso martinis. And I'm sipping my drink and I look up and I see him and his friend at the restaurant. And they walk up over to us and I'm like, oh, hey. He's like, yeah, like they're a little booked up, but they said they can like seat us in like 20 minutes. I was like, oh, cool. Well, we're about to be done, but we'll go grab a drink. Maybe we can like meet up later. And he said, okay, sounds good. So it was kind of awkward timing because we were finishing up dinner while they like hadn't even been sat yet. And so we went to a bar across the street and we were grabbing drinks, and I hit a wall and I was like, okay, now I need to go to sleep. And I was super jet lagged. And so I sent him a DM just basically saying, hey, we are so tired. We have a full boat excursion tomorrow. I don't think we're going to stay out.
At this point, they're communicating through DMs. Beloved, he don't like you. And he probably had another girlfriend that he was trying to shake. DMs, he didn't ask for your phone number at any time. He's just like, so how's the place? That like, she was smitten, but I get it.
Much later. And he was like, that's totally fine. And so the next day we wake up, we get on the boat, and I start obviously posting like all my cute photos. Like, remember I took a photo driving the boat, and like, we were just, having fun. And I was like looking at my Instagram story and I see he's like hearting every single story, and like he's responded to a couple of them. I am not the type of person that reads very much into activity on social media like that. But it was something that I noticed. And so, you know, we continued on with that for like a day.
If you don't read into thing, your girl, again, stop. She was sprung out over this. You posted the story and then you were checking to see who watched the story.
Mm-hmm. And then he reaches out to me and he says, hey, like, what are you guys doing? And at this time, it is our last night in Havar. And he said, what are you guys doing tonight? And I said, we don't really have plans because we didn't. And he said, well, do you guys want to come to dinner with us? And me and my friend were like, absolutely, sure. And she wasn't really down to go. I kind of forced her because I was like, this guy's hot and it's a free dinner. Like, let's just go. It'll be fun.
So this girl used to be her best friend. She actually posted on TikTok that she always felt like this guy was a scammer from the start. And she warned her about this guy from the start. She said from the start, you could just tell. And this girl literally cut her off over that. I think she also said, if I'm not mistaken, that the girl got a big attitude about it. And then the reason the friendship fell apart is because the girl's boyfriend at that time, which is now her ex-best friend's, the ex-best friend's boyfriend at the time, which is now the ex-best friend's husband, right? This girl, Onika, wanted her to get her then boyfriend, to invest with Martin. And the guy was like, hell no. And the girl was like, no, like this guy is bad news. And Onika cut them off because of that. So that's why she keeps saying, my friend, my friend. It's her ex-best friend that she don't mess with anymore.
And so she's a good friend. So she came with me and we get to the restaurant and him and his friend are sitting across from each other. So obviously I took the seat next to him. I was sitting across from my friend and we're sitting there, we're having a wonderful dinner and drinking tons of wine. And I come up with this idea to play this game where I'm asking his best friend to describe what my ex's type was. And because we were obviously like vibing with each other. And I was just curious. And so his best friend starts listing off everything, like good morals, hard worker, all these things. And like, I felt like he was describing me. And after his friend was done talking, my best friend basically said, you know, aside from being a good cook, she checks off every single box. And I remember I looked at him, my ex, and I said, but I will become a great cook for a good man. And he starts laughing. I remember I put my hand on his leg. And that was the first time in my life that I felt that instant electricity from someone's touch. Like it literally felt like I was getting shocked. And we instantly like had this physical attraction towards each other. And we started.
This guy on TikTok said, anytime you see a woman tucking her braids behind her ear, it tells you all you need to know. But let's keep going.
Talking about what we did for work. And I told him that I was working as a real estate agent and in tech. And then he told me, he's like, I'm actually chief commercial officer for an ad tech company that does marketing for real estate companies. So I was working in real estate and tech and he was working in real estate and tech and everything just like felt like it was aligning. But again, I'm like, this guy lives in Copenhagen. There's nothing that's going to come from this. So after dinner, we go and grab some drinks at a bar nearby. And we grabbed one drink and they're definitely gearing up to go back out. And it was our last night and my friend really did not want to go out. And I am not the type of a girl to ever leave my friend for a man, never in a million years. So I ended up just saying, hey, I think we're going to call it a night and we're going to head out. And he was respectful of that 100%. And I remember we just hugged goodbye and we left and that was it. And so we're going back to our Airbnb. We're walking home and I get a DM from him. And he said, it was so nice meeting you. I hope it's not the last time. Also, South Africa is happening. I can see it. And the reason why he said that was because I was telling him that I had wanted to go to South Africa for that following Christmas. And because my family was going to be traveling. And he said, I've always dreamt of going to South Africa. And I jokingly was like, well, you're invited if you want to come. And so whenever he made that comment to me in the DM, I was like, okay, sure. I am not thinking anything of it, right? At this point, whatever. Like this guy lives 5,000 miles away from me. I'm not thinking anything of it. So the next day, my friend.
You're invited. So you're letting him know, one, you're famous, and two, your family has enough money to bring a man. And you're also letting him know your family are dum-dums, because whose father is letting a man they don't know just tag along for a family trip?
Goes back to Germany, and I go to Barcelona to meet up with some friends. And again, I'm like posting throughout my trip, and every time I look at my phone, it's like he's DMing me, messaging me, and he's continuing all of this. And I'm just a little bit shocked, but also like very interested still at the same time. And he was remembering things that I told him at dinner. Like I had told him that I was going to buy a Chanel bag because I wanted to reward myself for working.
Con artists have amazing memories, girl.
Hard. And
amazing.
He had messaged me and been like, hey, did you get your Chanel bag? And I was literally like drunk off sangrias in my bikini and cover up in the Chanel store when I got that DM. And I sent him a selfie, and he said, this is the best photo I've ever seen. And I just like felt like I could just be myself with him already. And, you know, we were just getting along and having good conversation.
Money.
So again, he doesn't even have my phone number at this point. We were literally just flirting through DMs. So I end up leaving Barcelona the next day, and I land, and he sends me a message, and he said, what are you doing this weekend? Do you want to go to Ibiza? And I saw the message, and I was like, what? And we will continue in part 2.
Okay, so let's go on to part 2 really quick. Hold on, because I really want to jump
the Danish
into
deception,
that.
part 1.
Hold on,
okay.
part
So it all started in June
of
right 2022.
Here. Okay.
I was in a place.
There we go.
The Danish deception, part 2.
Okay.
Okay. So he sent me this message saying, you should come to Ibiza this weekend. I'm going with a bunch of friends. And he's like, I'll send you the flight. Everything will be paid for. And I thought about it for a second because, come on, who wouldn't want to go to Ibiza? And then I thought a couple of reasons why I didn't want to go was mainly because I just bought a Chanel bag. So I was like, I want to work and make more money. And also I felt like this is the type of guy that things come easy for him. And this is not something that's going to be easy for you to obtain. And I didn't want our first weekend to be like just partying together with all of his friends. Like that's not what I wanted. So I ended up telling him no, but I just ended up saying that I needed to work. And I thought he was never going to talk to me again. But somehow this like lit a fire under him, and he became even more persistent, and he started pursuing me even more. And he was sending me messages like, when are you going to come visit me in Copenhagen? Or I would love to come to Dallas to come see you. And I was just like, who is this man and what's happening? Still not really taking him serious. And then maybe like a couple weeks later, he sends me another message. And at this point, we're still talking pretty consistently on Instagram. We still do not have each other's numbers. And he sends me a message. He says, hey, I have a work conference coming up in Monaco, and I would love for you to come. And I read that message, and I was like near the south of France, like that Monaco. And he was like, yeah, like I can get you your flight and everything will be taken care of. And I was like, okay, well, give me some time to think about it, because I didn't want to say yes on the spot, but I was like, okay, this is something I definitely want to consider.
Okay.
So I thought about it for a while. I talked to my friends about it. I talked to my sisters about it. At first I was like, I don't think I'm going to do it. Like, this is crazy. And then over time I started like talking myself into it. And then one morning I woke up and I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to go to Monaco. So I sent him a message and I said, hey, I've decided I'm going to come to Monaco. And he sends me a message.
Let me pause this, because for those of y'all who haven't been, if you was at Hulu's in Havar, you're 100% going to Monaco. 100%. Now, Monaco, yeah. The way she thought Havar was, that's Monaco. But let's continue. She was going.
He said, this is the best day ever. I'm so happy. Send me your passport and everything.
Monaco's gorgeous.
So I sent him a picture of my passport. And I also was like, oh, and by the way, here's my phone number. He was like, I've been waiting for you to give this to me for now like weeks. And I said, okay, here you go. Thank you for like inviting me on this trip. So I give him my phone number and he sends me.
Like he was he was getting your passport, but not the phone number. And at this time I would have been like, no, Tinder swindler. That movie was out. You sit there, man, you don't know your passport.
Message. And he said, it took you long enough. And I said, oh, yeah.
Not the number to get you a plane ticket. Actually, they don't even need your passport to give you a plane ticket. They just need your date of birth. That's it. And your name.
Oh, well, sorry. I'm just a little bit more reserved when it comes to like dating and men. Like I just like to make sure like I'm a very intentional person.
Okay.
And he was just so respectful to me. I remember when he was booking the flights and everything, he was like, don't worry, like I'll get you your own hotel room. Like he was just being so respectful. And so I remember our very first phone call so perfectly because it came completely out of the blue. It was like on like a Tuesday, and I'm sitting at my work desk, and he sends me a message. He's like, can I call you? And I was like, oh, he wants to call me. And I'm like, I'm literally discombobulated, freaking out. Like, what am I going to do when this man actually calls me? But I was like,
and you
need
had
to
a
get
phone
together.
call with him?
So he calls me, answer the phone, and he's actually in a cab to the airport. He's about to go on a work trip, and we were just small talking about our day. And I felt like those like butterflies that I felt whenever we had been together at dinner in Croatia. And I remember getting off the phone with him, and I was just sitting there like cheesing, like, which I don't ever do. And I was just, this guy is special. And he sent me a message, and he was like, you are so cute. Like, I love talking to you. And I said, I love talking to you too. And so basically,
I don't know why anytime a man's like, you're so cute, it just seems like they're sunning you. I don't know why, but you're so cute is never the compliment you want from a man you like. You're so cute. Like, I don't know.
From that moment on, we just started talking on the phone all the time, like for 1 hour, 2 hours a day.
Okay.
We started talking about a lot of things, about a lot of different aspects of our lives.
Okay.
He was telling me that, he was living in Copenhagen. He was living in this condo. Obviously, he knew that I lived in Dallas. And then we started talking about past relationships. And I told him, I was very honest. I said, I actually haven't had like a truly serious relationship before. I have always been a very independent person, but I do want to meet someone. I do want to like get married and have kids, but I don't feel like that pressure to like force it. Like I have such a great example with my parents, and I really want to have like an amazing love in this lifetime. And so I'm going to take my time to find that.
See, I find there's two dualities sometimes. There are people that come from hell and don't know how to have a functional relationship. And then there's people that come from a relationship that is so perfect that they don't know how to see scammers when they come. You know what I'm saying?
And I asked him, like, what's your history with your dating? And he was like, yeah, well, I actually was in a relationship with a girl. We were together for about 4 years. And I actually broke up with her about 4 months before I met you. And I said, oh my gosh, like the 4 years is a long time. He said, yeah, like it needed to happen for a while. And really what happened was that she told him that she was ready to have kids, and he wasn't ready to have kids. And I guess that forced him to realize that she wasn't the one. And
he's like 50 something. How is he not ready to have what, sir? What? There is an age limit. Like
they were living together. So it was like a really hard situation to get out of, but he finally was able to do so. And so I was happy to hear that.
I will say one thing, already you see foreshadowing of the way he did her. The way somebody leaves their ex is usually going to be the way they leave things with you.
It had been about 4 months since they broke up, because if he had said like they had just broken up, I would have been a little bit more hesitant.
4 months after 4 years is just breaking up.
To pursue things, because I know like you go through a breakup, you need time to heal, but I felt like, okay, 4 months should be enough time. And then we started talking about like our families a little bit too. I told him I'm super close with my family. He said, I'm really close with my mom and my little sister. I do have an older sister that I don't talk to. And basically something happened, and she was like being like physically abusive, verbally, physically abusive towards his mom. And he decided to cut her out of his life because she's crazy. And I said, listen, I get that. That makes sense. Like you should not have her in your life. And I think just like over the course of a month, we're talking on the phone for just hours. And I tell people all the time that it felt like we fell in love over the phone, because from the time that I had decided to go to Monaco to the time that I actually left for Monaco, it was a month. And we had this plan that we weren't going to FaceTime at all, because we wanted the next time we saw each other to be in person, which I thought at the time was super romantic. And so, we started talking about like hypotheticals. I remember he told me one day, he said, you know, if we ever end up getting married, you're going to meet the queen. And I remember just like laughing at that comment. And he said, no, I'm being serious. And I said, what do you mean I'll meet the queen? And he said, well, you know, my family has a royal title. And I was like, wait, what? And he sent me this link to this site. It's called the Order of the Elephants. And he said, you could do some research and then we can talk about it. And I said, okay. So I start going through the page that he sent me and I see.
Who brags about being related to royalty then sends you on a mission to do research? Girl.
Someone that had the same last name as him, like some old guy from like the 1700s. And I remember taking a screenshot and I said, is this your great great grandpa? And he goes, now you're getting on track. My next question to you is, how's your etiquette? And I was like, I mean, I think it's okay. And so I'm sitting here like, who is this man? He's attractive. He has a great job. He has a royal title. Like, is there anything wrong with him at this point? And I have always believed in the term, it's too good to be true. But I mean, and I was feeling that 100%. Like I felt like, when's the other shoe going to drop? But it didn't drop that first month. It was just like, we truly fell in love over the phone. And so we are getting closer and closer to the trip to Monaco, and I start packing. And I feel like that's like when the nerves start hitting me, was when I'm packing, like, oh my goodness, this is actually happening. And I remember my sister was like, you need to put air tags in like all your bags. And I'm like, I don't need to put air tags in anything. Like, I trust this man. Like, I know like it's going to be okay. Like, every part of me felt like so safe with him already, which was crazy because I hadn't really spent much time with him. Maybe this is trauma from being on The Bachelor. I'm not sure. But maybe. I felt very safe with him. And so the day comes where I'm supposed to go on the trip. And so I order my Uber, get to the airport, and I felt like it was kind of like a good sign because I posted that I was at DFW, and one of my really good girlfriends texted me that lives in a different state. She was like, hey, I'm actually in DFW too. And I was like, oh my gosh. So she comes, meets me at my terminal. She's like, where are you going? I go, I'm actually going to Monaco to meet this guy that I met in Croatia. And she was like, this is insane. And so I just felt like seeing that friend was like a good sign. I don't know why. And I ended up just boarding the flight. I remember boarding that first flight. I had a layover in Madrid, but boarding that first flight, I was sitting there and I was like, this shit is really happening. And all the nerves are just taking over, but I'm like, take a chill pill. It's going to be okay. You're going to get there. It's going to be fine. And at that point, I was like, okay, the worst thing that happens is like, he's a crazy person and I have enough money where I can like just book my own hotel and I'll just have a good time by myself. Like, it'll be fine. So I like had that backup plan. But yeah, I had my layover in Madrid and then my next flight was to Nice. And so I boarded my flight to Nice. It was like a really quick flight. And I get to Nice, I land, I get my bags and baggage claim. I sent him a text. I said, I'm here. And I'm rolling both of my bags, about to walk out, freaking out. And let's continue on in part 3.
All right, you guys, listen, there's a lot of breaking news. So I actually have to get to work. But hold on, let me turn this off. Hold on.
So he said,
but listen, I have to get to work because there's breaking news coming in. But tomorrow, I think I'm going to do parts 3 and 4 and 5. Maybe we'll try to get like 4 or 5 videos in an hour because now I'm invested because this was the calm before the storm. And already there are a bunch of red flags. And trust me, this ish is about to go off the hinges. In any case, listen, you guys, I'll see you guys tomorrow if you feel like it for the Danish Deception. Again, the reality TV show. Let's binge watch the Danish Deception, okay? In any case, let me go get to work. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye. Wait, hold on. Did anybody, because I always leave without actually checking. Did anybody super chat me? No, just Trishawn saying, damn it, Diddy's at it again. And you are right. All right, let me get out of here. I'll see y'all tomorrow for